Thank you guys for joining us today. Sarah and Brandon here, and we are the Harmonious Duo. And today we were going to discuss with you about the social media strategies that we were able to implement, and we call this Twitter Simplified for the newest online entrepreneur. And while we get everybody situated and everything, not a lot of you guys out there may know exactly where Sarah and I come from. So we'll go ahead and explain really a little bit in detail about where we come from, our backgrounds and stuff like that, and why we think that could really provide a lot of value for you and where we're taking you with this webinar. So myself, Brandon Northwick, I really got started with the entrepreneurial mindset when I was really young, in the early teens, always, for lack of a better term, was like a middleman for everything that I did. Always was recruiting people and sending them to another person that would be able to make the money that I could have made if I would have just opened the business myself. And so those referral fees, as a lot of people call them, they come into place really effectively throughout your life when you're growing up. But then you get to a point where you realize you can make a lot of money on your own if you just had your own ideas. And so when I had that kind of introduced to me, it took me to a whole nother level, and I got licensed at the age of 20 as a real estate agent or a realtor, and really took that business really serious. And the one thing that none of my mentors or the leaders in my business or team really ever taught me was about the marketing aspect. And for the next 4 or 5 years that I was in the real estate business, I really toggled between my highs and my lows because of the fact that there was nobody really teaching me what I needed to know about how to get my name out there. Nobody knew I even existed. People wanted to buy real estate, but they never knew that I was in business and I sold it. And so after a few years of really struggling on the down end of that, and getting with a group of people who I saw were really flourishing in the online world, they showed me a way out of what I was doing and into a newer way of how to really get your business into the world's eye. And so, one start, of course, is with social media, and that's where we're going to begin today. And here goes a little bit with Sarah and her background. Go ahead, baby.
Hi, everyone. As Brandon told you, my name is Sarah. I'm Brandon's fiance. My background's a little bit different than my fiance's. His has always, like he explained to you, been very entrepreneurial driven from a very early age. Mine has been not quite so. I've always been more of a do things kind of on my own terms, on my own time, kind of a no planning, fly by the seat of my pants kind of person. So I typically gravitated towards jobs that catered to that type of lifestyle. So of course, a lot of service industry jobs, working at bars, serving at restaurants, coffee houses, things like that. I did actually teach in private preschools for about 3 to 4 years. So I have a little bit of experience with childcare and private nannying, but I never really understood the importance of actually being an entrepreneur until I really got with Brandon, and he actually opened my eyes to the possibility that I could be that person. I never grew up in an environment where that was something to think about. It was always, okay, go to school, get a good job, stay there for 40 years until you're ready to retire, and that's just kind of the life that I was expected to lead. But, being with him and opening my eyes, we got together and decided that we would try dabbling in opening up our own businesses. I wanted to open up my own bake shop, but because I had no idea what I was doing or the tools necessary to do it correctly, it didn't quite pan out the way that we wanted. But that actually turned out to be okay, because not having that responsibility just yet allowed me to fulfill the role that I had ultimately wanted when getting together with Brandon, which was to be a housewife who is a stay-at-home mom. We have a beautiful daughter who is about to turn 2, and it was very important to us that I was able to have that opportunity to stay at home to really build a solid foundation for our family. But of course, as I'm sure many of you out there know, it's very difficult when you go down to a one-income household, so it creates a lot of stress. And while we both knew and understood that my role was very important and vital and that I was bringing value to the table, of course, as Brandon's fiance, it was difficult for me to not feel the stress of not being able to provide financially as well. So when we actually found the platform that we're on right now with Empower Network, it allowed us to have the lifestyle that we wanted, which was the freedom to live as a family together. It allowed us the ability for me to stay home but still make money, for me to help ease the burden of the financial stresses on Brandon's shoulders. It allowed us to really not have to sacrifice our family life for our financial life, and that's been a big blessing to us. And one of the things that was very beneficial to us was their mentorship and their leadership with marketing our business and us being able to help teach others how they can do the same so they don't have to stay stuck in the rut that they might be in.
Yeah, and when you get to a point to where, like, when the people that we found that are involved with the company that we are with now has really been able to get our our creative juices flowing, as you would say, to be able to really get you thinking again and your mind stretched in a way that really everything that you look at is an opportunity now. There's not one thing that you won't be able to look at and say, okay, I could do this and I can make money at it. It's literally that mind-boggling to where the business opportunities, every opportunity that you have just opens up. And some of that starts right here with these social media strategies when you get those ideas and how to really get it out there to the world in a fast, just very impactful way to really look like a compelling person who is passionate about what they do. And, we'll start off with...
All right. So as we discussed earlier, this is Social Media Strategies, Twitter Simplified for the newest online entrepreneur. Our goal for this presentation is for those of you out there watching, we want to make sure that we can help you average up to 100 organic followers per day.
Real followers.
Yes, real followers. That's what we mean by organic. So it's not going to be people, spam bots. It's not going to be bot followers. It's going to be real people who have found you they're connected to you because they see the value you're providing the marketplace and they want to be a part of it.
And everything that we're teaching you right now can be done and completed within an hour's time, if not less. If you're new at it, probably about an hour. But everything that we're teaching you could be done in less than an hour. And if you were to put and give more of your time to this system, then that 100 will double, triple, quadruple, or basically multiply by the efforts that you put into it.
Yes. The average of up to 100 is at the bare basics of just putting in an hour a day. Like Brandon said, if you amplify your production and your efforts, you'll of course see a higher result. So what we want to do is we want to start by first completing our profile. Whenever we set up our Twitter accounts, the first thing we want to do is we want to create a good avatar, which an avatar is simply your profile picture. I've included a screenshot. This is Brandon's Twitter profile, so you can see his profile picture. It, of course, is of us, his family, because that's a big reason as to why we do what we do. But simply put, if your profile picture looks unprofessional, then you're going to be viewed as an unprofessional person and people will not take you seriously. So you want to make sure that your profile picture speaks to you, to your personality, to kind of who you are, but maybe isn't X-rated. That might be a good idea.
It makes it definitely helpful.
Yeah, and then the next thing we want to do is to really round it out is maximize our profile biography. Now we get a small opportunity to really sum up who we are. So we want to make sure that we're telling people that we're someone who's worth following, that we're someone who's interesting, who has value to provide. I mean, if you're going to sit there and talk negatively about yourself, you're not going to really take advantage of what you could be doing. You want to maximize the small amount of real estate Twitter gives you here by summing up who you are and making sure that you provide a URL link to wherever it is you'd like your audience to go, whether that's your blog page, your web page, or a capture page, whatever it is, wherever you want them to go, you want to make sure that you put that link in there that's provided for you. All right, now a good example of what not to do on your Twitter bio is this is an actual screenshot of someone's profile that I took a couple days ago. She was probably maybe like 15, 16, so obviously... she wasn't using this for business or anything like that, but it's just a very, very, very intense... off-putting.
Yeah, it's a very good prop to use to let you know exactly what not to do, because there's a lot of people actually who are in the business that I've came across who, I tend to read the biographies, the 140 characters that they have to really let me know who they are before I even choose to really follow them. And so, I mean, we'll discuss that in a little bit, but that's really bad to really try and get people to look at you as somebody who's serious about what you do when you're so down on yourself and you're so negative with the world.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because like we discussed a second ago, your profile, so your picture and your bio, that's the very first thing people are going to see when they're searching for new people to follow and connect with on their Twitter account. So you want to ask yourself, if your Twitter bio looks something like this, does that really entice people to want to follow you? Does that really provide a motive for them to click that button? If not, you might want to reconsider and kind of tweak a couple things. You want to try being uplifting, positive, encouraging. Like we said, you want to make sure that you're providing a reason why people should be interested in following you.
Yeah, there's only a few reasons why people are really visiting you on Twitter. And one of them is about engagement. They really want to be able to hear from you. And so when you do this, you want to be able to get that engagement during the times that people are really going to be able to see what you're doing. And those times, according to Abraham and Harrison, are 9 a.m., noon, 3 p.m., and 6 p.m. Because if you happen to be on during these times, those are going to be where you see the heaviest engagement. And if you are scheduling posts, make sure to schedule your most compelling content, or the content that you really want to be seen first, the sales videos, or the whatever it is that you're trying to do. You want to get those sent out during these times, because that is when you're going to see the biggest impact on your tweets.
Exactly. Basically, whatever you're promoting for the day that you feel is the most important to your business, that's what you want to consider scheduling around these time periods. And then another way to engage on Twitter is by using things called the @messages. This you can do with your top followers. It's a really creative strategy that you can use that isn't going to carve out 6 to 12 hours of your day for tweeting using this tool. It's a great way to show your personalized appreciation to people who follow you, because, let's be honest, like, everybody likes being noticed or recognized for their positive participation, and that goes for Twitter as well. I mean, it's social media. A great way to be social is to show the people who follow you your appreciation by sending these @messages.
And one quick tip that we'll let you guys know right now that might not be in the slide, or it might be, I'm not sure, but the one thing that one quick tip is that every time that you get a group of followers, say by the end of the day you see it says you have 50 something followers, and you haven't taken time out of your day today to publicly do this, to literally put the @messages behind their names, to publicly recognize and say thank you for the follow and stuff like that. That's another form of engagement, and that's going to be able to get them to see that you do appreciate what they're doing, and the fact that you will be a man of value, because now you're seeing that you're enjoying the people coming to you, because that's really what you're after. And then they feel important because now they're publicly recognized, and then you're going to get a heavy dose of retweets and favorites just because of that.
Yeah, exactly. That's been a very helpful tool for us. And then, of course, another great tip that you can use for engagement is asking questions. People love to engage, and a great way to do that is by asking people questions. And they can be questions that are specific to your passion or your niche, or they can be even random questions that are like, hey, what's everyone doing for Monday night? What did everybody have for lunch today? I mean, maybe not that, but just questions in general. They show people that you are interested in what they have to answer with, that you want to listen. So ask them questions. It'll get a conversation going, and it increases your chances of being responded to, but also retweeted, which is important with Twitter.
And she's exactly right, but just please don't. There's a lot of folks who have very short temper tantrums and very little patient wicks. And so if you were to really understand that these questions that you're going to be asking people, give them time. Give them about a week. If it's more than a week, just know that they're probably not going to answer you. But do give them, a lot of people might just do their question answering on one certain day of the week because they have a lot of followers or something like that. And then, the retweeting, like we said, with the asking questions and with the @messages. The biggest thing that you're going to want to do to get retweeted is retweet things first. So social media is all about reciprocity, and you have to make the first move. You have to be willing to make that first move. It says right here, using your hashtag retweet will increase your post to actually being retweeted by 12 times. And if you use the word retweet, your chances increase by 23 times. And the moment that you start to get involved and engage with everything, and you add the retweets, and you don't really want to do it in every single retweet, because people, they're going to look at you and go, wait, we're not going to retweet everything that you do. But in the majority of them, you feel free to put them in 50% plus. I mean, you could feel free to just really bang them out and tell people what to do. Our mentor has really taught us about direct influence. And when you get in front of somebody, you're going to want to tell them what to do. And so by telling them with the hashtag RT in your post, your audience will know that they need to retweet it because you asked them to.
Exactly. And then, of course, another thing that we have found very helpful with allowing us to grow a good following base is the fact that we have tweeted quotes on a daily basis. You know, everybody loves that daily dose of inspiration. That's why people gravitate to Oprah the way they do, because she comes on TV like 5 days a week and shares, you know, inspirational stuff. Share your wisdom. Share the wisdom of those that are relevant to your niche. Provide, you know, it may not seem like a big deal to you, but you would be surprised at how many people gravitate to those daily little tweet quotes. And I've actually found that with my following in particular, that whenever I tweet a quote, that instead of listing the author of that quote, whether it's me or someone else, I've actually found that people respond more frequently if I use hashtag quote at the end. So that might be something that you want to consider.
And you want to really don't really get involved with the quotes that are really cliche. Do some work, do some research, and find some quotes that make your jaw drop, that make you go just like, man, that literally that empowered me to do something today. Share that with the people. Don't just get on there and start sharing things that you've heard for the past 30 years that never did anything for you in your life.
Exactly. That's very important. And then another thing that you guys need to really consider or pay attention to doing is repeating your tweets. Now, most of the time we're taught not to really repeat ourselves too much, but in Twitter, that's actually a very good thing, because Twitter is very fast paced. It's very by the second interaction. So in the 2 to 3 seconds that it can take you to compose a tweet, you could look over to the right of your screen and see that you've already got 100 new tweets waiting for you to look at. So you have to keep in mind that your audience is most likely going to miss a lot of your posts. So if you have specific things that you would really like engagement on, or that you really want in front of your audience, like things that are important to your business for special sales or campaigns or events or things that you're hosting, those are things that you really want to take into consideration of repeating throughout the day at least 4 or 5 times, because you want to make sure that you're guaranteeing yourself that you're putting your post in front of your audience.
And stick with us, because we're going to share with you a beautiful tool that's going to shave that time in half. Because I know a lot of you folks that are listening right now are like, I seriously have to get back on, Twitter 17 million times a day and do this. You do not.
Yes, we'll share with you that. You just have to stay tuned.
And then, posting URL links, whether it's your own URLs or URLs of interesting articles on other sites, including links of either relevant information or trending information, will have an 86% chance of being retweeted. So that's a huge increase compared to what normally would be retweeted. That should be a huge indicator that you need to be putting URL links in your tweets. And it really will do a big justice if you have a blog through us, if you have anything like that you are going to try and promote. Those URLs can be shortened through Bitly if you haven't and you're not familiar with that site. Get familiar with it. And that's how you're going to be able to shorten or get those URLs to fit inside that 140 characters. So don't think that, oh, well, you know what, I have a website URL that's 45 characters. How am I going to say anything to promote it in a tweet that it takes up, more than half of what I need? Don't worry about that. They have link shorteners for that. And, just go to bit.ly.com if you're not familiar with that right now.
Yeah. Or Google one that you're comfortable with. They're everywhere on the internet. All right. Now, the next part that we want to talk with you guys about is all about providing value. So we've discussed about how you can maximize dressing up yourself to make people interested in following you. Now we want to make sure that you understand the importance of, now that you have their attention, that you're giving them something that's going to mean something to them. And the great way that you can do that is by what's called niche posting. So, yes, it's your Twitter profile. You want to be personal. So, of course, you can post things about your life, like what you're doing with your family or friends, to show that you do have a life outside of work. But you want to make sure that you're posting predominantly about what it is you're passionate about. And if you guys don't have one, if you happen to be with us right now and you're thinking that, you don't have a niche, you're not quite sure what you're passionate about, or maybe you do have a niche and a passion, you just don't know how you can make money off of it or a way to do so, then you want to go ahead and click the link that we have for you on the right-hand side of your screen, connect with our team, and we'll be able to help develop a vision. Will help you find something that works for you.
Yeah, we have a bunch of systems. Yeah, we have a bunch of systems in place that we can ask you certain ways to get you to really analyze yourself and your heart and your mind in a way that a lot of people have never been exposed to before. And when you do that, it develops your niche literally in front of your eyes. And you then, if you're not if you're not passionate about anything right now, which I know a lot of my friends personally, I ask them, a certain question, what are you passionate about? They have no idea. So you're going to want to know, if you don't have a niche yet, that it's not the end of the world, but you will need one in order to be successful in business, because you can't sell to everyone.
Exactly.
So you've got to really know who your target market is and where you fit in. And if you're not sure where you fit in, like we said, we have a group of people that we've been able to help. We will be able to help you the same exact way. And, it's just a matter of really you tapping into your heart and your mind to really being able to develop one.
Exactly. And, a great way to give you guys an example of what we're talking about is, say you love to cook. That's your passion. You know that you eat, sleep, and breathe making new recipes. Well, a great thing that you can do with your Twitter account is you can post URL links and images or even videos of you in your kitchen developing your test recipes. If you are with us and you're already a marketer, that's awesome. You can use the same principle just with things that apply towards what you're marketing. So your products, your promotions, things of that nature. If you're going on Twitter and just posting random things just to fill up your tweet space and boost your tweet count, so it makes to make it look like you're there all the time, that's only going to get you a handful of followers, and that's at best case scenario. But by trying to stick with that in hopes of getting your following, you'll see that those people will fall off really fast.
And posting images and videos. This is one thing that I love to do. I think an image or a video, of course the video already has words in it, but an image can say 1,000 words. And, when you only have 140 characters to really get your point across, a video or an image does so much more than that. You could link a book that you read to your Twitter, to your tweet, and now you've got a whole, million words that are attached to your 140 character tweet. So, when you get to really get involved, tweets with images receive 18% more clicks than those with plain text. They receive 89% more favorites than those with plain text. They receive 150% more retweets than plain text. If that doesn't excite you to just put some dang images and some videos in there, I don't know what will. 150% more retweets, it's amazing.
Yes, and again, touching base to what we said earlier, Twitter is very by the second interaction. So really utilizing the images and the videos is really going to help you maximize putting yourself in front of your audience, because of the fact that they're literally scrolling and scrolling. It's easier to grab their attention from a large image or video versus just a text image just a text that bleeds in with everybody else's news feeds. So you really want to take advantage of this tip that we're giving you, because it really is gold. Another thing, like we said with the videos, those are equally important. We don't want you to forget about those. Videos are really important because they help engage your audience on a completely different level than images do. They have a lot more interaction. They feel more personal because it's basically you speaking directly to that one person. And, tweets with videos, we found that they attract about 3 times more engagement than just regular plain text tweets. We find that viewers actually spend 100% more time on pages that contain videos. And that's really important, especially if you're marketing. And a really beneficial tip for you guys is that, especially if you're marketing something, that mobile video viewing has increased 35% just from 2010 to 2011. So you have to keep in mind that everyone is basically living on their phones now. And a great way to make sure that you're always in front of these people who are always on their phones is by sending out videos of you telling them about whatever it is that you want them to know about. Viewers are 85% more likely to purchase a product after they view a product video versus just reading a product text that you send out through an email.
I like those numbers as a salesperson.
Yes.
I do like those.
Yes, he's a percentage man. He likes good numbers. And another great tip before we move on is that if you are on here and you happen to have an Instagram or Facebook account, you can actually connect them with your Twitter account and share images off of those social platforms and videos too. This is a cool way because it not only boosts your engagement on your Twitter feed, but it also shows your viewers and your followers that you're also active on other areas of social media, and that's really important for them to know too.
Definitely. Yeah, they want to see that you're all over the place.
Exactly. Now, we want to show you guys an example of what we're talking about with images versus plain text. So, which would you be more likely to click on? We have option A, which is an image of a poor boy whose town just got ravaged by a horrible typhoon. And then we have the link of the article written underneath it, Or we have just the plain tweet text. Realistically, I mean, let's just be honest, which would you be more likely to click on? If it was me personally, I would be more inclined to click on the image just because it pulled at my heartstrings more. It made me feel more connected to the poor little boy because, that's just our human nature. We are visual creatures. So me, typically, I would go for the image.
And you could see why the high percentage of the retweets, of the reads, of the click-throughs, of everything is going to be able to get higher just when you look at this. I mean, no one could deny that. And then again, what not to do with your Twitter account. The depressing bio that we mentioned earlier, we are just reiterating that fact once again. Do not fall victim to the depressed, miserable look. To that, hey, look, I'm going to dress my account very sexy, but then you put on you put on a frown. Like it doesn't make sense. You have to become attractive, and you have to use that to the best of your ability and maximize every single space that you have that your name is going to be attached to. Because mind you, that this is you representing yourself.
Ladies out there, when you go out on the weekend and you rock a sexy dress, do you rock a frowny face? No, you don't. If you've got the sexy dress, you've got the sexy face to go with it. So let's keep that mentality with our profiles, okay? That right there, big no-no.
And this is one that we are sharing with you just because we love you. We want to be able to be really transparent with you and let you know exactly what we've done, to let you know exactly what not to do and exactly what to do. We want to lead by example, and the biggest way that we could do that is by letting you know our faults. One of the biggest things that we did early on at the very, very early stage in our creation of our marketing campaign, we went and we thought that we were doing it right. So we went, and these followers that were brought to us in front of us as a way of becoming more influential in the internet world, we bought them and we fell victim. And next thing you know, we look like spammers.
Yes.
We get hit with people who are sitting here telling us that, there's a few things that you could do differently to make it to where your account is actually real, and that when people are coming to your account every day, new ones or your actual followers, they're not seeing people fall off by the hundreds. And that's exactly what happens when you give these guys money. When you go and you pay for these followers to boost your account, it's gonna ruin the way that you get looked at if you have anybody put in your name to this new tool, this beta tool, TwitterAudit.com, that's being allowed or being presented to the world.
Yeah. Like we said, we're all about transparency and honesty. We were actually doing really good with growing our beginning following organically because we actually had this competition going between the two of us. And what ended up happening was he beat me because he bought followers. And I thought because he bought them that must be the thing to do. So I went and I bought some. And as you can see, this screenshot that I have right here is of the actual service facility where I bought mine from. As you can see, they offered me 5,000 followers for $10.99. I thought I was getting a heck of a deal. And, lo and behold, actually, since we did this, I now have more people coming onto my profile trying to connect with me, where all they tell me is they can help get me more followers if I pay for this. So I get spammed more now from people who are trying to pimp out more followers like this, who are all fake. The majority of them are fake, or they're inactive. They don't do anything for our account.
They don't even have a Twitter. They don't even have a Twitter profile, a picture,
or a single tweet,
or a single tweet. They're literally the fakest that you can get. And I mean, we've done a couple of them. I mean, it took us to the second company before we realized that this was not the way to do it, and that it was really harming our account. And the first one that we did, now you're going to find probably some that do give you some real fans. You're going to find some that give you a majority of real fans. You're going to find some that give you absolutely no real fans. But no matter what you do, you're going to come across those fake followers that you paid good money for, real money for. And when you have somebody who is looking to see if you are legit, there's ways to check these things to see if you are real and if you put in the time to gain the trust of these people who are following you. And that's really what it's all about, is being able to put out valuable content into the world that's going to attract the consumer base, that's going to fill your pockets with the cash that you've always desired. That's what we're all after. And you can't do that by buying fake followers.
Plus, it does look very suspicious to people who followed you prior to buying followers and see you go from say like 500 followers on one night to 5,500 the next night. That looks a little suspicious, just to let you know.
Yeah, and then, finally, we don't want to go, you can't go days without tweeting. You really do not you can't afford it. Your business really needs somebody to show up every day, and when you show up every day, it shows to your fans that you love them, that you will provide value as promised, and that you're not taking this relationship for granted, that you will be there every day. And then when you have something that is really worth reading, they're going to read it because they know that you wouldn't tell them to read it unless it was valuable and going to help their lives in some way.
Yeah, that's very true. And we understand that it is very difficult. It's more overwhelming when you're first getting started with your business to really be on top of your social medias. So, there are tools that are out there, which we'll share with you in a little bit, on how you can get a better control of your schedule instead of your social media getting control of you. So, I wanted to just make sure that you stay tuned for that. And, another thing that's very important for you guys on what you should not be doing with your Twitter account is, yes, while we do promote you automating aspects of your business, you don't want to substitute automation for personalization. We fell victim to this when we first got started, because let's face it, anything that makes our lives easier, we tend to gravitate towards. So tools that allowed us to schedule things in advance was very helpful, but if you're going to go 100% automated and never come in with your own personal presence, that's going to harm your Twitter following. That's going to harm your base. You want to make sure that you're coming in and you're still personally showing up by responding to questions, commenting on other followers' profiles or tweets, favoriting, retweeting, things like that. Brandon and I have found that we found what we like to call an 80-20 rule. 80% of your tweets can be automated, things like images or videos or daily quotes that you want to share with people. But the other 20% of everything that you're doing on Twitter should be personal. And like we said, your personalization is going to come from your commenting, your retweeting, your favoriting, and just general engagement with any of your followers. All right. And now this one, we found that a lot of people are not actually familiar with the fact that Twitter has direct messaging or private messaging like Facebook does, but they do. It's very easy for you to get caught up in trying to get everything that you need to get done, especially in the beginning stages, but, you don't want to forsake answering your direct messages on any of your social media sites, especially Twitter. It's one thing for people who have, say, like 2.5 million followers. I'm sure they get quite a few daily, direct messages. Those are different. When you're in the starting stages, like right now, and you're trying to grow your presence online, it's very important that you take the time to answer these messages. And by taking the time, we don't mean like 2 or 3 weeks or even like 1 week to answer a message. You want to get to it as quick as possible.
And a lot of the ones that you're going to end up seeing, I'm not going to lie to you, a lot of the direct messages you're going to read, and you're going to know that these were preset messages. They were possibly automated because you just followed them, so you get an automated message, or they just send out messages to their followers on a certain time every day. And these kind of messages, you could I found that just being nice and just, messaging back and saying, I'm not interested, or I am interested, send me more, whatever it is. But like she said, with the followers, I actually get direct messages probably about 2 or 3 a day, at least still, that are direct messages saying you have to can't copy and paste the link because of security purposes. Now, that's not something that I'm going to be interested in, but it's not something I'm going to be rude about and ignore either. I'm still going to have that reputation of who I am and represent myself fully by answering everybody who took time out of their day, whether I know it's automated or not, to send me a direct message. And
exactly.
it just means a whole lot to people when you take time out of your day as well and return the favor.
Exactly. And we've seen from the moment that we've started taking the direct messages very seriously with our accounts, we've seen our following grow organically quite rapidly from answering these direct messages as well. I mean, even if they're people who are trying to spam the crap out of you and say, here, buy this, oh, get this, send me your address, things like that. Yes, they're annoying, but we're all about trying to help develop the leaders and everybody, and a great way to do that is by simply sending back a nice message that you recognize that they sent you one, and you're just simply glad for the connection. Something as simple as that, but don't ignore these direct messages.
Yeah, and remember, the one thing we'll share with you before I'm on the next slide that I love to say is how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you were to be rude to one, you're going to end up being rude to all. If you ignore one, you're going to end up ignoring them all. Exactly. It's just the way it's going to happen.
Yep. And now our final thoughts.
Okay, to take advantage of our sister tools. These are the tools that we recommend to help you. These are the ones that you've been waiting for. These are the ones that are going to cut your tweet time, cut your, and then we get to our next webinars, cut everything that you're doing with your social media output in half. It's going to just reduce everything that you're doing
It's going to help you out a lot.
Tremendously. It
Yes.
saved our time, and what we were able to do was able to really keep the same amount of time that we put into our business, but get twice or 3 times the results.
And any tool that can help you do that is going to be very beneficial to you. So now again, these are ones that we've recommended for you. You don't have to use them. If you have found tools that are similar to what we're showing you, that's perfectly fine too.
Yeah, share them with us. Send us an email. Yeah,
Exactly.
send them with us.
But one of the ones that we found that has been extremely beneficial to us has been Sprout Social. This is a management and engagement platform that allows you to merge and manage your Twitter, your Facebook page, your Google Plus page, and your LinkedIn accounts all from the same space. And a lot of the insane benefits that we received from Sprout Social have been things like the fact that we can schedule or queue posts. We can respond directly to new notifications on each social media platform directly from one dashboard, so there's no more hopping back and forth between different internet tabs. You can track your analytics across each social platform, which if you're in a business, analytics are good. Get comfortable with them, get to know them
daily.
Because how else are you supposed to know where you're lacking or where you're excelling at if you're not paying attention to your analytics? Another great opportunity was that it provided us with an option to discover others that we can follow in any niche that we wanted to search for. It also allows us to assign tasks that we connect to our account to other team members, which is basically outsourcing, and that's always a plus. And then, of course, it allows us to check all of our news feeds in one place. Again, no more hopping back and forth. You can get the URL that we have for you right here and just go check it out in your own free time. And then the next one is Tweens. This one is, we're still poking around with this one, so just wanted to let you guys know. But what we found so far is that Tweens is a place that help you grow your audience on your Twitter and Instagram more authentically than if you were to just buy followers direct from a bulk site, like the ones that we were discussing earlier. Tweens gives you an option to promote your profile to fellow Tween visitors and members. They have an active monitoring system that helps them block fake or inappropriate users who try to come on and spam other profiles. It gives you the option to encourage others to check you out. Now, again, that's not you paying to be promoted. That's you asking if someone else would mind checking you out. There's a big difference there. And then it does offer 2 options. You can go in on a free account. You still get all the full benefits, or you can choose to go in on the VIP account, which gives you the full benefits, but it provides you with a faster growing audience. And again, we provide the link for you below. All right, and then our last one that we're going to share with you is just Unfollow. This one allows you to find inactive users or followers on your list and gives you the option to unfollow them if that's what you'd like. Other helpful reasons on why we choose to use just Unfollow include the fact that we can find other relevant users to follow on both Twitter and Instagram. It gives us a copy feature that allows us to literally copy the followers of, say, competitors that we're looking at. So if we want to basically take their followers and add them onto our account, we can do that too. And provides you with an analytics of sorts because it allows you to keep track of your social media updates and how they affect your audience. They allow you to check the relationship between any Twitter followers or unfollowers as well as on your Instagram account too. And then this one also gives you an option to blacklist, basically block, or whitelist any followers or users. And then, of course, it gives you an option to send automated direct messages to new followers. So like we were talking about earlier, if you want to set up a system that anytime someone follows you, you get an automatic personalized direct message, this gives you that option.
And I found that really does help. I get probably about a good 40% response rate when I send out my automatic direct message to them after they follow me. And all mine is very simple, and this is what I encourage you guys to do.
Yeah.
Something just simple that's your personality, that's you. I love letting people know how awesome they are. So my thing is, thank you for the follow, TY, thank you for the follow, hashtag you're awesome.
Yeah.
That's literally it. And people, you would be so surprised.
They love that.
At how happy they are when they get that message from me, just letting them know that they're awesome. Mm-hmm. And I get so many back letting me know that, hey, look, hashtag I'm awesome too. So that's the kind of relationship that you want to start off with. You want to start off with leading with value, and then leading with that support
With
with
personality.
exactly. And you want that follow up. That's going to be huge with your business, and
Exactly.
that automates it right there.
And this just Unfollow, it does allow you what's called campaign options, to where you can pay for promotion. Now, this isn't you buying followers. This is basically you telling Just Unfollow you're giving them a promotional budget. So if you give them $10, that's supposed to have Just Unfollow put you in front of enough people to where you'll get 50 organic followers. So you don't have to use that, but that is an option you can use. And then, of course, again, we provide the link for you below. All right.
So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, you guys
we
are
really
awesome.
hope that you got everything out of this for, to get your Twitter experience really going. If you haven't joined our team already, we encourage you to take action. Click the link on the right of this video or below this video or wherever happens to be hanging out, and get with a group of people who are going to get you to stretch your mind. And that's exactly what we promise you. There's really no guaranteed with the income in our business, but what we can do is we can guarantee you our time, we can guarantee you our training, and we can guarantee you that what we will teach you will bring you to a better place in life.
And one of the cool things that we've decided to do for you is that as a bonus gift for those of you who actually attended and showed up, we're going to be sending you a complimentary download of our presentation for you to refer back to after this presentation has been closed. So what you want to do is make sure that you keep your eye on your inbox, because within the hour we'll be sending you your free gift as a thank you for tuning in and taking your time out of your day to spend with us.
And again, you are awesome. We thank you. And as well as the future, don't think that we're going to leave you after this Twitter one. Our next webinar will be on, I'm pretty sure it's going to be on Facebook, that we're going to hold for you guys. We get a lot of requests for that. So, leave some comments and some thoughts below about what you thought that this had value for you with. And, just look forward for the next one.
Thanks for showing up, and have a good night.